Hello everyone, welcome to Downtown Tailoring. I love today's video. We are going to add support to a chiffon dress using corset-like elements. So let's go! If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. This is a chiffon bridesmaid dress, and the chiffon is usually very soft material. And my customer want a dress that has more support. So we are gonna add it. But before that, I'm gonna take in the side as well because the waist is a little bit too big on her. I'm not sure that I have taken waist in a bridesmaid gown in other videos, but this is pretty much a standard job where I have to take in all the layers, and I already did it here. Still, I have to take in the waist in the skirt as well, but before all of that, I'm gonna work in my support system. So I'm gonna go inside the dress. This dress is basically composed by 2 layers, and each layer is divided by 2 parts, the top part and the skirt. Today I'm gonna use 2 kind of buns. This one is feather light that I can sew on, and this one is the classic plastic that comes in case. And I'm gonna use as well this very soft waistband elastic that will allow me to complete a very nice job. And lastly, I will use a bra hook. I'm gonna start by marking my cups to put it in the same place after. Well, we'll see. And now I can start removing them. I will remove one first, and I'm gonna start by measuring my waist so I can cut a piece of the elastic just a tiny bit bigger than the waist, and then I'm gonna mark the center because I'm going to put this elastic starting from the center front until the center back. So I'm gonna again go inside out, and I will start working in the lining of my dress. So I'm gonna try to find the center point in the waist, and I'm going to make a line from center to center, and this line will mark my first buns. And then to find my other 2 buns, the next one, I'm gonna check more or less where the bust area is, and I'm gonna go a little bit lower than the bust area because I wanna just, in this case, I just want to hold the tummy. And then I will mark both sides of the center 2 little lines that I find that is okay. And then I'm gonna use the plastic buns for the next seam in the bust area. Usually this kind of cut are made with the straight line in the bust, but this one is specifically going to the sides. So I'm gonna need to curve my buns to adapt to this size seam. I could use it that way, but sometimes it doesn't really work so well, so better if I do it artificially. And let me show you how to do it. I'm gonna cut the amount of bone that I think I need, and then I'm just curve it like that. You see, that was easy. No, let me do a third one because I have done 2 already. Kidding, it's off. Before I start, I wanted to tell you that I use a very special Teflon bed on my iron, so I'm not sure if that will work in a regular iron. So, just letting you know this part. What I do, I'm going and I will present my bone until the curve start, and then I'm going to my ironing board and I will try to somehow curve my bones, and then I will press it flat like that. And then with my hand I'll finish when it's still hot, but not so hot that will burn myself, of course. And look at that, it's starting to take the shape. I saw that I need a little bit more at the edge, so I'm going back where I need it, and then I'm gonna repeat and with my hand still I keep doing my, and let me go back to my curve and check that is looking better, but I still need just a tiny bit more in the curve. And this first curve is all done very good, and now I just have to go under the boss to go to the opposite side, and I think we got it. You know, we are talking about now two curves, the curve that goes flat at the side and the curve that goes out for the bust. So now that I have this one, I'm going to mark my next set of bones right on the side of the bust, and then I will have two more bones in the side seam, and then another two at the back, and then they will go. So let's start sewing it. I'm gonna start with my elastic, and remember that I marked the center, and I'm going to put center with the center, and I'm going to align both center. And then I'm gonna mark all the bones is my elastic. And as you can see, I'm making my elastic just a tad shorter than the distance of the bones, because I will use that difference, you know, to make more support. I'm gonna round out the edges of my bones so they don't hurt. I remember the 80s, please. It was a nightmare with all those bones. But I had a lot of parties to go to. Spanish people and the quinceañeras. That's a lot. I burned a little bit, but be careful with that fire too close to the dress. Anyways, probably because of my trauma with the bones as well, I'm gonna add an extra reinforcement to keep those bones comfortable. And then I will sew over my bones. Remember that not all bones can be sewn, so you have to get the featherlight one that these can be sewn. I will finish as well with my material at the other edge, and then I'm going to stitch the other side. Then I'm gonna prepare my second set, doing exactly the same with the borders and everything. And now I'm gonna pin the elastic, because remember that I have to pull a little bit the elastic. The elastic is smaller than the real distance. And I'm gonna prepare myself and sew my second bones. Remember that I'll use always my reinforce, and I will sew the bones in both sides so it's stronger and nice. And look at that, it's looking really good. Now I'm gonna go with my third set, and this time I'm gonna use the plastic bones, and for that I'm gonna need to sew the case. I use the same case where they come. In this case, I open the seam attached to the waist so I can sew the case all the way down. So I will do pretty much the same. There is no difference. I will go and sew my case all around. When I go to the top, I pivot my material. Oops, I forgot the elastic. So I'm opening a little bit, and then I'm going to insert the elastic back. No panic. And then I'm gonna sew my last pair in the center, and then I have everything I need. So now I'm gonna cut all the excess of this reinforcement material, and I think that my corsettery is looking nice. So look, this is the back, and now I have this elastic, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do to the elastic to make sure that it's really doing its job. So I'm gonna open the two seams at the back, because I want to pull the elastic out through that hole. See? I'm gonna mark where I have to make it by pulling a little bit, and then I'm gonna pin it so I can sew it easily. This is a little bit tricky to sew, so I cannot sew the whole thing. If I were making the dress from the beginning, it would have been easier, but now that everything is done, it's a little bit tricky, so I sew from the top until the middle, and then from the bottom up, and that way I have everything. So my last step is inserting all the plastic bones that are in the cases, and as I did the same, I cut them a little bit rounded and burn them a little bit just to be sure that we don't have sharp edges. You don't want sharp edges. I'm measuring what is the length, and whatever you think the length should be, just go just a tiny bit shorter, believe me. You know that babies are born with 300 bones that fuse to 206 bones. In this case, this dress was born with 0 bones that multiplied to 11. And I'm gonna help myself with this tailor ham, because what you need to do is to try to find the apex and put the apex of your dress with the apex of your cups. You know, as soon as you find it, then you are all good. You see, I found it here, I found it there, and then I'm going to put them all together, and then I will pin it. And then after that is very easy. You just have to tack or stitch your cups to every seam that is available. So in my case, I have 2 seams that are available, so I'm sewing very well. And then for the other 2, I'm going just to put a loose tacking. And here you go, you see, it looks really good. And now look at the dress. It's a pain that my customer won't see the job inside, because it looks really, really nice. The last part is to finish the elastic, and I'm gonna use the bra hook and eye. As I said, this is a part of a bra extensor that I had, but I will just remove what I don't need, and then I will use just the normal thing, you see. Now I have my 2 normal pieces, and I'm gonna measure where I need to put them. You know, you have to make sure that they will be a little tightened, but you know, because it has 2 rows, 1 row that will be normal and the other a little tighter, you know, because you don't want that be too loose, because you want it to do the job, and the job is to hold everything in place. So when I am sure that everything will be okay, I'm just going to my sewing machine and just have to stitch that, making sure that the soft part touches the body, and everything is so nice. As you can see, the dress, of course, will look pretty much the same, but now it will be supporting my customer in a very nice way. She didn't have time to try on when she came to pick up, but in a conversation by phone, she told me that it works out beautifully. I couldn't see my job, so I don't really know. This is not a sponsor, but I have to admit that this brand can understand what is being petite while you are a bigger size. You can see the before and after. It really looks the same. This is what we really want, but now it supports my girls. Well guys, if you find this video useful, please give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe, share, comment. Bye!